It feels like it was 1989 when I last played the first Pixel Rip game, but the memory of it is still pretty fresh in my mind. A nice meta-adventure with a tinge of nostalgia, but with only about 3 hours of completion time, the original Pixel Rip game left me wanting more. So much more. So with Pixel Rip 1995 coming, I was cautiously optimistic. Would it be something different? Or would it be another trip to the well of nostalgia-laced Inception-like gimmick? Well, it was a little of both, resulting in a masterpiece. All at once, Pixel Rip 1995 served as a history lesson in gaming, a love letter to the VR medium's progression to its current state, and a challenge for the future. I was thoroughly impressed by just how well the sequel was able to do so much more than the first installment, albeit in roughly the same runtime. Leaning heavily on The Legend of Zelda for inspiration to start, we got to see glimpses of influence from classics like Donkey Kong Country, Super Metroid, and Streets of Rage, just to name a few. We even got to sit in on a never-ending debate between the game's version of SNES versus Sega Genesis at a video rental store, and that was fun to see from a third-person perspective since I found myself involved in those arguments at the peak of that rivalry. And we also caught a slight dig at the VR before VR, Nintendo's failed Virtual Boy, which, by the way, I have nothing but fond memories of.
So, what's it like? It's very red. Rag, it's really cool. It's red. Everything's red. The sun is red, the water is red, the trees are red.
But the reason 1995 outshines its predecessor is the jump in generations. The game starts by taking that leap from 8 to 16-bit, and then eventually entering the 32-bit era, which really put into perspective just how much gaming advanced in such a short amount of time, especially when you consider that just 1 year later in 1996, Nintendo would drop the N64. It's funny, although neither protagonist uttered a single word, I felt more strongly connected to David this time around. And maybe that was on purpose. So Nicola from the original game was more isolated, which was kind of the state of the gamer at that time. The 90s saw a strong shift to gaming culture well on its way to being a mainstay of the greater pop culture, and thus more accessible, as evidenced by David's growing connection with his mom, who at first really didn't understand her son. All in all, Pixel Rip 1995 built upon what made the original work so well, and gave us a story that felt more personal. The challenges again were on point, the distraction challenges were great, and I especially loved having to turn the TV on and off at night to keep mom away.
David, are you awake? Oh, these video games are haunting my dreams.
And the moments where David's games world entered his, and subsequently ours, never got old. But there's one small thing about Pixel Rip 1995 that just makes this game absolutely magical. I'm sure you can remember the first time you put on a real legit VR headset. Whether you were playing Astrobot, Resident Evil, or Beat Saber, that initial moment of awe where you felt like you were transported into another world is indescribable. But as overwhelming or beautiful or terrifying as it was, a part of you is still very cognizant of where you are and what is really going on. But for a few moments playing Pixel Ripped, I completely lost myself. I was that kid, sitting on the floor of my parents' house, playing my SNES to death as they converse from across the room. Mom is on the phone, Dad is decorating the Christmas tree, and I'm just sitting there, occasionally looking up as they had this totally natural conversation, or even talking to themselves about stuff that has absolutely nothing to do with me. And it just felt like home. I can honestly say that I legitimately forgot that I was playing a video game. And maybe that's the meta effect, but even 1989 didn't give me that deep of an authentic feeling. And it's because of the game overall, but especially that moment, that I feel Pixel Rip 1995 is a must-own for any PSVR owner. And at $20, I feel like this was a steal. Again, 3 hours is a pretty short completion time, but I got my money's worth and more. Let me know what you thought of Pixel Rip 1995 in the comments below. I'll hopefully be back again soon, but until then, I'll see you guys around.